Look, if you find one the right money, then it would always be.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. We are live here for the next round of the championship, round 5 of the season, and we are at the home of the British Motorsport around Silverstone, the home of British Motorsport. And joining me in the commentary box tonight is my father and co-racer, co-commentator Kelly Davis, and we'll be bringing you all the action this evening, and looking forward to a great night's worth of racing here for the Whodarron Cup. And like I said, home at the British circuit of Silverstone. Kelly Davis, are we loud and clear and ready to go racing tonight?
We are ready to go racing and sounding great. Good evening, folks. Not my normal place to be. It's SimPlay, but I was at a loose end, so I thought I'd come in and sit in the commentary box.
Well, I've just already noticed that Kelly's just slightly quiet, but we're going to make that fine adjustment on him so we can hear him loud and clear. But yes, Kelly, we are here for Silverstone for the next round of the championship. You sound like a robot. Who sounds like a robot?
Who sounds like a robot?
Myself or Kelly?
Like Daft Punk.
You might. Well, I might sound slightly different because I'm on a different headset tonight, so we'll sound slightly different. But we are live. Also, quite tiny for both mics. Okay, understood.
Wow.
So I said.
Yeah, we've got lots of great feedback already, just on the sound. Nice to hear.
I think what the reason is usually I don't use the browser source as the volume, so we should be a lot louder and clearer. So hopefully we shouldn't sound so robotic either. But either way, Kelly, we are live and
Yeah.
ready to go racing for the M2 Championship, and obviously for yourself and people who are watching here at SimPlay Motorsport, the way the Whodarron Cup works is like the British Touring Car Championship. We are racing in a 3-race format. Where basically they'll be doing 20-minute sprints, and regarding the championship, the drivers will be carrying success ballast on board as well. So if you're leading the championship, you'll be carrying the maximum ballast, which is 40 kilos, and then second will be 35, a third is 30, and so on and so forth down to 8th place position. We are ready to go racing here, Kelly. Obviously, Silverstone is an iconic circuit.
Yep.
These small, lightweight cars, very low in power as well, but they do like a good slipstream. How are we looking for these M2s this evening? How much, what kind of racing are we expecting with these around this circuit?
Well, you're going to have to teach me a little bit here this evening, Dan, because this is my first rodeo as far as it comes to the M2s. I haven't had any experience. I've done a couple of laps in one, but I haven't seen any of the racing here for the Whodarron Cup. So you're going to have to guide me a little bit along this one. So yeah, I get the format, touring car-esque. So short, sharp, 20-minute races, no pit stops. That sounds great. Not a problem with that. I get the ballast thing, but as I said, you may have to fill in some of the gaps for me with these M2s. Who's quick round here? I'm beginning to think that maybe Kieran O'Reilly's probably quite quick, and Skunky is the man on pace at the moment. Yeah, so who's quick, who's not?
Well, like you said, obviously Kieran O'Reilly, your defending side series champion, Whodarron Cup champion. He is one to definitely keep an eye on as well. He's carrying actually the 40 kilos tonight, so it should actually hurt him quite a bit here tonight. Obviously, with the weight on board, the low-powered cars, it should really struggle for him on this one. But like you said, Skunky's looked quite quick in these. McGowan has definitely been very rapid in these. But he's just not had the luck this season. We've also got a couple of, I believe they're Polish drivers as well. The likes of Strowski, Nugamanov, Zdanov. Those kind of guys are always there mid-pack, and already the names are crazy as hell, aren't they?
Yeah. You're going to have to keep me up to date with these a bit. I'm going to have to follow your lead on some of these names this evening. No doubt, like I do on a Thursday night, I'll have to abbreviate some of them or make my own up for them. Or maybe stick to the characters I know. Because there is a lot of the characters, that it's such a wide pool of talent, this one, isn't it? Being that it's open to anybody. You don't need to be pro or pro-am or done hot stints or do any kind of race analysis to be classified in this one. So it's pretty much a free-for-all, isn't it, this one?
Yeah, pretty much. I think, like I said, the way the ballast works really does hamper some of the drivers, especially with the low-powered cars as well. It does offer opportunities for drivers to really gain in this championship and have a good little scrap. And the nice thing about these cars, you can go wheel to wheel, bang doors with one another. And I think that's the best thing about a one-series championship. They just do produce some great racing and great entertainment. So we'll keep an eye on all that. Another driver to keep an eye on as well is Silth. So the two MSA boys last time out at Imola took all 3 wins. So it was an MSA dominant weekend for them. But one other thing, well, not so on pro the other night, was it? It was actually Rosowski who ended up taking the win at Imola, which was a fantastic and enjoyable round to participate and also witness myself while racing. One other thing to discuss here as well, Kelly, obviously the way the format works for Pro and Pro-Am is we have the Platinum and the Gold drivers, and we also have the Bronze and the Silvers. Regarding the M2s, we have 3 separate classes, Gold, Silver and Bronze. The Gold drivers on your left-hand side are shown in white.
Yep.
The silver drivers are shown in grey, and your bronze drivers are shown in red. So it's an idea to keep an eye on who is where regarding the championship and where they are in placement of in the race. So, for example, leading the silvers at the minute is Will Brink, who's currently in the pits at the minute, but not far off behind him is Zdanov as well. So these two have been having a couple of good rounds coming into this weekend, and really looking to try and give the Platinums or the Gold drivers a bit of a headache. Regarding Silverstone, go on, Kelly.
Sorry, separate classes, separate wins, yeah? Same as Pro-Am and Pro.
Exactly the same, yeah. More like we'll look to the race winner, but we will mention that they won their classes as well, so silver and bronze.
Okay.
Also,
I'm with you.
Regarding Silverstone, obviously the home of British motorsports. And what's your genuine opinion on this track? For me, I think it's the benchmark to British motorsport. It's the best British circuit we have, obviously, regarding FIA standards. It's an FIA grade 1. Obviously, Formula 1 come here as well. But for me, you've got to have a lot of confidence in your car around this circuit. A lot of fast corners, flowing corners such as Copse, Maggots, Beckett's, that whole sequence of corners. I think you've got to have a car that's well suited underneath you and have that kind of nice flow to the circuit.
Yes, you want my honest opinion on it?
Go for it. We love honesty here at SimPlay.
Brilliant. Donny's better. I think Donny's a better track to drive than Silverstone. I think Silverstone is a little bit too clinical. Yes, it is an FIA Grade 1, and it's a world-class facility. You know, on the world stage, Silverstone is right up there with... who's that That
was Millington.
Yeah, that was quite a moment there, getting it all sideways, just like a Beamer should be. I think as a facility, and I mean, I've been there in recent years. You know, it's a brilliant facility, and as I said, a real jewel in the crown for British motorsport. As far as drivability goes, I don't dislike driving around Silverstone, but I find it a little bit a little bit drab. And if that offends some people, I am sorry. But I prefer Donny Park as a driver.
Well, I think over the years, obviously the weather really does contribute a lot to this circuit. Obviously, we saw in F1 this year how much the weather can affect this circuit and really bring it alive. I think corners where you see in the F1 cars, where you got the likes of Copse, which is pretty much flat out for F1 cars, as soon as it becomes wet, it does change the element of this circuit massively. It becomes a lot trickier circuit. Obviously, there's a lot of runoff, there's a lot of space to go off, and I'm in the same ballpark as you. I do prefer Donington Park to this. I would prefer to see Formula 1 at Donington Park, would be entertaining, but nonetheless, I don't know why we're sounding robotic. I really don't, but I do prefer this circuit. I'm going to have a quick look at why we're sounding robotic a minute.
Okay, you do that and I'll answer your question. Well, and I prefer the new Silverstone lineup, the latest variation of the layout, should I say, of Silverstone. I kind of like the way it flows, pretty much from the Vale chicane, which is the last chicane before you go on the new start-finish straight. And I quite like that, into turn 1 and then into the, I believe it's the village complex in the middle. When I get out onto the Wellington straight, I then find it all a little bit on the dull side, really. So I kind of like half the track and not the other half. I mean, we won't see a Formula 1 at Donny Park. They haven't got the infrastructure for it. So and this is why racetracks are chosen, because of the infrastructure and the money that's been invested in Silverstone over the last, however many years. Is why it still continues to have the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think I know why we're sounding robotic, but
okay, it's got nothing to do with Daft Punk.
It's nothing to do with Daft Punk. It's nothing to do with the Terminator either. I think it's due to the fact that obviously the way this was a last minute. Yeah, we know there's a slight echo. The way we've done this evening is Kelly's last minute joined me in the commentary box, so we weren't prepared and ready, and we didn't want to reset the server just to get him in. So I'm currently streaming and share playing to Kelly now. So I think that's going to be why we're sounding a little bit robotic. I am going to try and make some adjustments and changes to help that.
Okay.
but I can't promise it will fix it. So
Okay. While you're doing that, we've started qualifying, 10-minute qualifying. As you know, as I said, it's not my normal night, so I don't quite know how everything works. But I've read the screen in the corner that says just under 10 minutes, so it must be a 10-minute qualifying. 10-minute qualifying is going to be quite hectic round here in a slow car, isn't it? I mean, this is a 2-minute lap in a quick car. In I can't remember what it is in GT3. It's over a 2-minute lap in a GT3 car. It's nearly a 2-minute lap in a Formula One car. Is it not? So in an M2, I would have thought it's. I wasn't paying attention to the times.
2 minutes 16
when we were in
is what
practice.
O'Reilly did.
2:16. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, well over a 2-minute lap. So that means after an out lap, that's only going to get a couple of flyers, isn't it? There's going to be no real time to go back to the pits, change tyres, and do all the rest of it. Are these guys restricted on tyres like the rest?
They are, but they're like 9 or 10 sets, so they can't go too crazy. They got a lot more than obviously the GT3s, but they can't go too crazy. Obviously, McGowan is the first one that managed to get out on circuit first. Hopefully, the Echo should have eased it off a little bit, but we're just going to have to run with it, guys. That's how we're going to live with it for now, and we will play him, and maybe a little bit later on we'll be able to sort it out. But if Kelly goes...
Yeah. I mean, we can't be anything like as annoying as the adverts that pop up. So so if you can just live with it, it's my fault. I popped up without being announced. I just kind of turned up, rocked up, and yeah, it's my it's mine. Loads of comments in the chat, especially from Matt Duffin. And normally I'm talking to him when I'm in this kind of party, but he's on the chat instead, so that's great. Love a walk round Donny. Yes, we do. Seeing there's no audio sport liveries, no audio sport cars in here. Unfortunately, you know we're so good in Pro and Pro Am, Matt. We'll give Whodarron Cup some time off, isn't it? Because both audio sport teams are running towards the top of Pro and Pro Am. So yeah, I haven't even I have seen a livery that I like. But I don't know who's got it yet, so we'll get back to that a bit later on.
Well, we'll go on board with Benny Varga to take us a lap around this fantastic circuit of Silverstone. He's heads into Cops and he takes it a little bit too deep, goes a little bit wide.
Never mind that apex.
Never mind that apex. Max Verstappen definitely did make the apex a couple of seasons ago, but then into the fast flow, Maggots and Beckett's, easy to chuck it into the first part of the chicanes, and then into the slower part, very easy to carry way too much speed through here, Kelly, and just go a little bit too deep.
Understeer City, this car, isn't it?
Yeah, Understeer City, very bouncy as well, as he then exits out of the Maggots and Beckett section and heading down the hangar straight into Stowe, which Stowe has a really awkward bump on the left-hand side of the circuit, just as you come up to the curb. How easy is that to hit? Very easy. It's a strange old corner, this one. You feel that you can carry more speed, and then you get to the exit and you definitely can't. Down into the Vale chicane, of course, the start-finish straight is the opposite end. It's the old start-finish straight. So coming into the new start-finish straight through the Vale chicane, accelerate hard. Again, with a GT3 and Formula One car, you may have to come back off the power. I'm sure with these M2s that you can stay on the power all the way through. Run out to the curb, go over the new start-finish straight line. Have a look at the lovely pit building on the right hand side as you swoop into this very fast right hander. Immediately you're on the curb for the left and let the car flow to the outside, or not, as Vargo shows, and put it back to the right and then pick up the apex for this slow section. They call it Mickey Mouse. Every time I mention this one, I mention I got mugged there, something rotten by I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, but you can overtake just there if someone goes wide. You're down now Wellington Straight, this one down, is it? That is the Wellington Straight that we're going down. We went through Farm Curve, Village, Loop and Aintree. We're now down the Wellington Straight, heading into Brooklands and Luffield outside the I can't remember.
BRDC.
Yeah, that's it, the clubhouse. And then into the very long corner of Luffield. This corner feels like it takes forever to get round and easy to get wrong. And then you go into Woodcote, which isn't really a corner as such, but you cut the curb as much as you possibly can. And that is an interesting lap around Silverstone with Benny Varga, and puts him 3 seconds off the pace at the minute, with Kieran O'Reilly setting the pace at the minute with a 2:16.1 already. That's a fairly good lap time, with Will Brink, once again the silver driver, sat P2 at the minute, Kelly. So
Wow.
already
Yeah.
showing his worth at the moment. But once again, you see the familiar faces of Skunky and Silth up there as well.
Yeah. Also in the top 10, there's Hibbs as well, and my old friend Bungle's in there, just outside the top 10. Andy just there, and in now 11th. NLR Bungle. That's him. There you go. In the 99 car. You'll love that.
Aberdeen throwing his way through the Maggots and Beckett section still. Meanwhile, Wilbrink is second at the minute. O'Reilly still setting the pace at this moment in time. We are waiting for Hibbs to come. I think he's come across the line. I know he's already set a lap time already of a 1.4 off the pace currently. So already these guys have only got one lap on the board. And obviously, Kelly, you mentioned that as you see there, he's getting the back end sideways. These cars,
we've got
to love these little cars as well. They're entertaining indeed.
I like one of these on the road. I really would. I mean, who wouldn't want an M2? You know, yeah, but yes. As we go quicker, who's that?
That is Kowalski, who has gone fastest overall, and a part of the, I believe they're Polish. They'll probably get me corrected, but you'll see a group of them in slightly different shaded liveries, like that one, for example. Szorolski in a slightly different colour scheme, but it's the same kind of group as well. Yeah. But O'Reilly now comes out of Woodcote. Can he improve on his lap time? He doesn't, and stays where he is. So Kowalski, again, last time out at Imola, really showed his worth and was giving the championship contenders a hard time, as McGowan now goes P3 as well, so he now gets himself into that top 3 position, and once again showing his worth.
Absolutely, yeah. So a few familiar names here and some new ones to me, but as I said, some familiar names at the top, with O'Reilly, McGowan and Skunky and so on and so forth.
Indeed, they are, as we got O, as I've called him, because I have no chance in pronouncing that name. We're calling him O. It's coming out
the big O.
The big O, coming out of Luffield, going into Woodcote now. He's towing Flop just behind him as well, so Flop's getting a decent tow at the minute.
Flop, I like that. Is that his actual name?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it's not.
What's the F stand for? Is it
Fitzgerald? Fitzgerald? I don't know.
Fitzflop.
Flitzflop.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love that.
As at the minute, Lee's the only one who's still in pit lane, and Matt Wright, the only one that lets set a lap time, and he does, and he's slowest overall with that lap time. So Matt Wright, he's not really been gelling with these M2s. It's been struggling at times to get onto pace, as a few of them now starting to return to pit lane. I think it takes Szorolski, meanwhile, improves his lap time.
In the 15s, yeah.
I think it takes a certain style to really get the hang of these cars. Obviously, they're terrible on the brakes. The back end can step out. Yeah, they understeer, and they're quite. The guys don't. They say they're quite light, but they're quite heavy, as in steering wise. They're quite. You really have to wring the neck out of them to get the best out of them.
I did a couple of laps in one just recently, actually, and those of you who know me know I drive a McLaren, have done for all the time we've been on ACC. Although I did test a BMW right up until the last minute of the endurance that we did a couple of months back, and I liked the BMW. The GT3 is the M4, isn't it? The GT3.
Yes.
And although it suffers terribly with understeer, of course, front engine, rear wheel drive, it would suffer with understeer. Driving one of these, and I had no setup, did no setup change, just jumped in to drive one. I found again that the understeer is really bad on these cars. Now I presume that some of these guys have done setup changes and dialed it out a little bit, although it does still look quite bad.
They're not the easiest thing to set up, because there's actually not a lot of setup changes you can do to them. So you now see Marsden now come to the line, 2.1 off the pace. He is leading bronze class at the minute, and now leading silver is Wilbrink at this moment in time, and Kowalski is the man at the top of overall at the moment, as Nugamanov now completes his session, and best he could do is 12th. So that's the best he will do, as Flop doesn't improve. He stays 10th and can't improve on that. We now wait for a few of the others, as Millington now crosses to line. He does improve, as does Gillies. He goes into 19th place position. The 45, that's Paro. He's now returning back to pit lane, as is a few others, I think, as well. As we've got the top guys still yet to come, but it is still Kowalski with the time to beat Kelly, and O'Reilly is going to try and find a little bit of pace to get on top of him.
Absolutely, and I quite like that livery of
Kowalski.
I quite like that livery. Got to love gold wheels, haven't you?
Of course you do. As Ramsel comes to the line, he goes 15th with that one, and we now just wait for the top guys to complete their lap times, including this man, McGowan. Like I said, had the pace, had the skills. It's just not had the luck this season with constant incidences at the start of races. I was going to mention, obviously, qualifying. You said about the 10-minute session.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, when we go into race 2 and 3, to hamper some of the top guys, we're not doing a 10-minute qualifying session. It will be a 7-minute qualifying session, so it's even tighter. So you pretty much get 1 or 2 laps.
I was hoping you were going to say 5-minute, like we used to do with GT4s. That was fun. 5-minute qualifying is fun.
It's chaotic, is what it is. Post meanwhile,
I know, that's why it's fun.
Silth only can get 8th. He's currently 1.2 off the pace. He is, I wouldn't say struggling, but he's in the top 10, more importantly. So Silth, after a brilliant Imola, is struggling currently here at Silverstone. I can't remember if he said this is a circuit he enjoys or not, but either way, he crosses the line to only... Not looking like it. He only goes 8th with that one, as we now see Marsden is the last one to complete the lap time. He is going to lead bronze going into this, as we see tips in the chat. Crossing the line now, Marsden stays 18th with that one. So it's Kowalski who takes pole position here for the first race this evening. And Matthew Duffin in the chat saying the ballast looks like it's playing its part here. I would say so, but also... Okay. Kieran O'Reilly just isn't human. I think he's an alien, because he's carrying that 40 kilos and somehow has managed to put it second on that one, Kelly.
Yeah, he is certainly the man on form. I asked if last week in the pro night if I could adopt him, because I was talking about him so much, and I normally save that for blood relatives, talking about him that much apparently, with a fantastic drive that he had in pro recovery drive. So yeah, Kieran O'Reilly does seem to be very much the man on form at SimPlay, doesn't he? Are you going to flick back down through the grid, are you?
We are going to do a quick run through of the grid order. So it's going to be Kowalski who starts on pole position, and starting with him on the front row will be Kieran O'Reilly, your defending Whodarron Cup champion. McGowan starts in P3 with Post in that P4 position. Will Brick is just behind his teammate as well in P5, with Skunky sat in P6. P7 is a Schwarbert, then P8 is Silth. P9 is Zdanov. While in P10 is Flop, rounding out your top 10 on row 5. Row 6 is Hibbs in that 11th place position, ahead of Nugamanov in 12th. Row 7 is Crespo ahead of Schwarski. And in row 8 we have Ramsel ahead of Aberdeen. Then we have Vargas in that 17th place position, ahead of Marsden in 18th, leading that bronze class, with Gillies starting in 19th, and Jacket starting in that 20th position in the top in the 10th row of the grid. Millington in 21st, with O sat in that 22nd position, with Smith in 23rd, Anderson 24th, Paro 25th, Matt Wright 26th position, with Lee not qualifying. I believe he had a qualifying ban. He starts from the back of the pack, and we're about to get underway for the formation lap here, Kelly, and based on the very little information that you've had and known, who are you looking at to possibly... Well, there we go.
Kieran O'Reilly. As I said, he's the man, very much the man on form. Well, again, I've got to know, I've got to go with the characters that I know. Kieran O'Reilly or McGowan are both very good drivers, both capable. Skunky's a good driver. I wouldn't roll out Silth. I don't know how much overtaking, how many position changes we can get in a 20-minute race. At Silverstone with these cars. So I'm gonna put my put my money on this on a safe bet, which is Kieran O'Reilly.
Well, I'm not, but
Okay.
I am and not at the same time. I'm going to go with Kowalski with this one. He's not had a win yet this season, but pole position here at Silverstone. Couple of guys with ballast behind him as well. I mean, you can't go wrong there with a lightweight car and everyone else carrying a bit of weight as well. If I actually find...
Unless you drop it yourself.
Yes, which is something I probably would do anyway.
I certainly would.
Regarding the ballast, it is actually going to be Kieran O'Reilly who carries 40 kilos, Sil carries 35, Mezin, who's not here tonight, carries 30, Skunky carries 25, McGowan 20, Hooper, who's not here as well, carries 15, Schwarber carries 10, and De Monster, who's not here as well, carries 5. So that's kind of the way we were looking at weight-wise. So O'Reilly carrying the heaviest and towards the front with McGowan with 20 kilos. Regarding the actual championship itself, it is O'Reilly leading from Sylph, Mezin, Skunky, McGowan, Hooper, Schwarbert and De Monster, which is your top 8 as I said. Kowalski, the first one in that top 10 and without weight in 9th place. Post in 10th with Hibson, 11th, Harris 12th, Lojak 13th, Zdanov leading Silver in 14th with Flop in 15th, Wilbrink in 16th with Vargas 17th, Ramsel 18th and Nugamanov in 19th place position. Matt Wright in 20th with Maiga in 21st, Marsden in 22nd and leading bronze with Crespo in 23rd, Aberdeen 24th with Swarovski 25th, Anderson 26th with Cox 27th, Johnson 28th with Lee 29th, Jacket 30th, Gillies 31st, and then Smith in 32nd, Parrow 33rd, Owen 34th, Hoochhausen in 35, and Crack in 36th. And then we finish things off with Millington in that 37th position. Regarding the teams, MSA are 306 points ahead of the casuals in that second place position. And I think it's going to take a lot for MSA to lose that lead. Autobahn United are sat in third with Apex Motorsport in fourth. Greasy Bandits Racing fifth with Kozak Racing in sixth. Only Siders in seventh with GBU Racing in eighth. Team FBGB in ninth with Schwarster's Motorsport in 10th, SimPlay Racing in 11th, Quantum Motorsport in 12th, Soldor Racing in 13th, Minex Racing in 14th, Billy No Mates in 15th, and Team SPR rounding off the team's championship as well.
Good job, it's a long lap.
It is indeed,
and it's fast.
And I talk fast, and it's going to be an even longer lap next week as we are going down under next week as we head to Bathurst Mount Panorama in these cars as well. I'm actually thoroughly excited for that one.
All week for next. Well, to be fair, the racing's been great all the way across the season this season. Such a competitive grid on every night. It's been some really great racing. So I've absolutely no doubt that this week will be great. And yeah, I'm like you, Dan. I'm a big fan of Mount Panorama. So yeah, great racing for next week.
Well, let's not think too far ahead because we are here at Silverstone for the first race this evening. Race 1 is about to get underway. We are level as we go into the final corner here at Woodcote. Kowalski on pole position ahead of Kieran O'Reilly. Can O'Reilly take a win, or can Kowalski get his first win ever here at SimPlay Motorsport? We now wait for the start of this race, and we should be, hopefully, green and go and racing here at Silverstone as O'Reilly out of position, I think, by the way, they got the jump quite easy, and Kowalski drops in behind as we go further back as Kowalski sticks with him. Everyone else, though, a decent start through Cops. We've all managed to survive the first couple of corners here. A couple of stragglers towards the back, but we have managed to survive the first couple of passes of Cops now heading into Maggots and Beckers, and looks like O'Reilly's got the jump and Kowalski is pulling away as we see a car go straight across the Maggots and Beckers. So that, I think, was Storowski. Yes, it was Storowski. And he works his way through there as everyone... Oh, there goes a car. I think that's Marsden.
Hey.
I think it's Marsden. No, that's Aberdeen. That's your mate, Zippy, that is. Oh, Bongo, that's it. Oh, no, you're Zippy.
Yeah, I'm Zippy, he's Bongo. Yeah.
So Aberdeen out in the wall, and he's dropped further back. Big damage to the front end of that car as well. But it's Kieran O'Reilly who leads into the first half of that race. Relatively clean so far, Kelly.
Absolutely. I mean, I take it there's no penalty, but surely Kieran O'Reilly was ahead on the start, was he not? Can he do that?
He can. He just positioned his car slightly better. The game would have been automatically given a penalty, but he did get the jump and get the start. McGowan managing to survive first lap once again, but Post right behind him. His teammate Wilbrink was starting alongside him. He dropped down to 7th, and once again, Sil, who started 8th, is up to 5th once again.
Yeah, absolutely. A great start from Sylth then, managed to go forward, and we didn't really see how. Again, of course, I'm not used to the liveries either, you know, I kind of know the pro liveries and so on and so forth, but yeah, so moving forward, as you said, reasonably clean start. Our pole man had a bit of a wiggle into the first part. Club is the first corner, isn't it, though, with that way round, or Coppice? No, I can't remember.
Abbey.
Abbey, yeah, of course it is. None of the above. So yeah, some clean start racing for these. It's a big track, Silverstone. Surely they've got enough room for these little cars, haven't they?
They have indeed, but also there's obviously the slipstream will help them out massively as well. They'll start to open up a little bit. As you can see, O'Reilly and Gorski dropping the pack of them at Post, actually starting to give McGowan a little bit of a headache as we head up towards the first couple of corners. Once again, we go into Cops, and you can see they're just on and off the throttle ever so slightly there, but McGowan has got the run and the gap as I'm pressing the wrong buttons. That's the view I want. We'll come back to that view a little bit later on once there's a close fight, but here is a close fight. Shorowski versus Zdanov, and Zdanov gets it done in the first part of Maggots and Beckett, and here comes Hibbs thinking he can have a quick go, but thinks better of it at this moment in time.
Not an easy place to overtake through Maggots and Beckett. It's a high-speed corner, and usually you need some compliance from the person you're trying to overtake, because it can all go wrong very quickly and be a real aircraft accident.
It can indeed, and you can see now already your top two guys pulling that gap, 9/10 separating those two, and they're pulled away from the rest of them. McGowan, like I said, had a little bit of headache with Post just behind him. Skunky keeping in touch with Silt, and Flop going with him as well, as we got a great little scrap going from I think it's Wilbrink. Yeah, Wilbrink down to Schwarber, Zdanov, and Shorowski going wide again with Hibbs, Ramsel, Crespo, Varga, Jacket, Marsden, all these guys relatively close to one another, and then it opens up once again, as you see here. Anderson going wheel to wheel with Gillies, he goes right round the outside.
I like that livery, the 95, that champagne gold. Nice, nice. Like
well, Anderson does have a teammate, and that is the Monster, and he has the same livery, but instead of yellow wheels, I believe I have white wheels. I believe he has instead.
Oh, that might even better.
Or silver, I believe it's one of the two. Is Smith? Oh, Smith looks to the inside of Anderson and can't get the job there, doing it for the Billy No Mates team, but can't get his nose up the inside.
Which Rob Smith is that one?
That
normally
is
Pro-Am Rob Smith, or normally Pro Rob Smith?
Pro-Am Rob Smith.
Oh, the one from Helston?
Yes.
Yes, the Cornish Rattler drinking, past the eating, Rob Smith, that one.
Yeah,
of course, same livery as this Pro-Am, to be fair, innit? Same colouring.
Yeah. As you see, Post has a good exit out of Luffield. He's now right underneath McGowan here. I say right underneath. These cars, they get a lot closer than this, but like you said, Duffin, a good clean start as Post gets a big lunge through Cops there. Really gets close to the back of McGowan, but you can see McGowan just carried a bit more momentum going through Cops and is able to pull that gap. And the lights on behind is the ever menacing looking MSA livery, and boy, they do look menacing when they come up behind you.
Don't look in the mirror. That's the way to deal with that. Yes, it does. I love these views. I very rarely see these views. We don't normally, as Dan explained at the top of the show, don't normally do it this way round. So I'm doing a share screen. I see exactly what you see. Normally, with the way the ACC is, we have to share the view that we see, and I normally ride on board for most of the races, but this is really nice, these different views, especially the helicopter cam. I don't think I can get that, can I, at all, with the way I view?
You can, but it's very awkward to get the views now. But speaking of the helicopter view, we are on board with the helicopter that is flying over the Hamilton Strait at the minute, the Sir Lewis Hamilton Strait, as Post now. There, as he is right on the back of McGowan. McGowan carrying a lot more speed into Abbey as he then goes through into a village, and right now it looks like Post is able to carry the speed into the corners better than McGowan, but McGowan just seems to have a better flow through the corners, able to get better exits.
Yeah, from this angle, these BMWs look lovely. They look planted to the road, like they're picking up the apexes and the back end just dancing around. They're pretty to watch, BMWs, when they're being driven correctly, and they look the part. On board, they may not be in the driving seat. They may not be quite so planted. And they may, you know what race drivers are like, always moaning about understeer or oversteer or whatever else.
Never have enough grip.
That's right, or not fast enough. Not fast enough, never enough grip.
Yeah, they're either a GP2 engine or they're just terrible on downforce.
Yeah. Undrivable is what Formula One drivers seem to do when they're, only in the top 5, as opposed to, undrivable. The car doesn't grip. I have no grip whatsoever. Does that not mean you'd be off the track?
And then usually you'd hear that, and then Lewis Hamilton says fastest lap of the race. That tends to happen quite a bit.
Yeah. I was picking on Verstappen particularly on that one, but
I know you were getting Verstappen, but I was getting more Lewis Hamilton. The car's I got no life in the tyres, and the next thing you know, bang, fastest lap of the race comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Drama queens, aren't they?
Yeah. As right now though, Kelly, obviously a couple of interesting rounds we've had this season already with Imola, Misano, and a few other circuits like that where it's been tight and twisty. At the minute for this Silverstone race, it's not as exciting as I would hope it was going to be. A little bit of a slow burner, I think. Obviously these cars, you see the big gap between Flop and Wilbrink there. Is that Wilbrink? No, sorry, Schwarberth and Ramsel. Ramsel's just detached himself from the top 9, but not quite the send-its that I thought these cars would send around here at Silverstone.
Maybe the track, the GP layout, maybe it's just a little bit too big, for these cars. They do the for the British touring car. Those you follow it, they do the it's the national circuit, isn't it? Which is got to be the dullest bit of tarmac that you've ever seen in your entire life. And I'm sure there's other configurations for this Silverstone circuit that could be a lot more exciting. And I think you need a more a short, sharp circuit for these smaller cars.
Yeah, for sure. As you see, Aberdeen, who's currently on a recovery drive at the minute, the amount of damage on the front end of his car.
Yeah, he's got
he's got Zdanov up his inside, who was up in the top half of the grid. He's ended up dropped down the bottom half of the circuit now, and he's having a fight with these guys. And we got this gaggle of cars as well. We got Marsden, Lee, Jacket, and Varga all in this scrap as well. So it's some close racing between these guys at the minute, and you've got just up ahead of him is Swarovski as well. Marsden right in the firing line of these guys at the moment, and really trying to hold off these guys. If you see there, Lee sending it up the inside, and Varga's going to sit and watch and try and find an opportunity, and he's going to try and look up the inside of Luffield, and he's not going to quite get the nose there. Oh, it's very close, tight racing here.
Lee's not afraid of a send-it, I'll tell you that for sure. I've been on the receiving end of one of his send-its, or a couple of them actually, so he's not afraid of a send-it. Going up the order quite well actually is Lee, considering he started dead last, didn't he, with the qualifying back?
He did start at the back of the pack, and he's now up to P14, but he's going to try an attempt for P14, going to the outside of Maggots and Beckett's, who have the inside for then the next part, but on the outside, Marsden though gives him the space and racing room, and good racing so far. But meanwhile, Swarovski did not have a good exit. Here comes Marsden now, flying up the inside.
Yeah, absolutely, and how things turn around very quickly there. Marsden with a great run out of Maggots and Beckett's and down this straight, and has got the inside line. It looks like he's got that job done there, but this is now bringing Lee back into play as they head just a nip downhill to the Vale chicane, and Lee goes right. Yeah, I think Marsden was a bit early on the brakes there, don't you?
Possibly so, or Lee was just a little bit more confident, but he just set out the inside and job done.
Didn't he? I do think Marsden was a bit early on the brakes there, and I think Lee was going to probably have a send it anyway. So all's fair in love and war, and they all come out of it cleanly. So happy days. So quite a group of cars here, just scrapping away as Lee now is starting to have a look at the back of it was Marsden who's in front of this group, is it? No,
Marsden slap bang in the middle.
Yeah, sorry, it's Varga who's Varga's 464.
It's Swarovski who's leading this group.
Swarovski, Right, that's the one. We'll get there in a minute.
And you can see there, he's trying to break the toe there, trying to go to the inside of the circuit. Varga moves his way forward on Marsden. Marsden now looks back up the inside, going into the left-hander, and there's the door. Marsden sends it, but makes slight contact. Swarovski's up as well. Jacket hits him, and Swarovski trying to get himself going again, and it was all going to come to an end eventually there, wasn't it though, Kelly?
It was, yeah, and we had cars off left, right and centre. That was Matt Wright as well, who went wide, trying to avoid the carnage by the looks of things. But, yeah, all went wrong in the end, and what a shame.
Was a shame indeed. Meanwhile, we go on board with Silt because he's got Skunky for company, and just behind them as well is the Autobahn United driver Odd Flop. This should be an interesting scrap. Skunky and Silt, kind of veterans of SimPlay Motorsport, you would say now.
Coming on that way, yeah.
Coming on that way. Well, if they're veterans, then Jesus, I don't know what I am. I'm dead.
Granddad.
I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah, you and me both been there right for the last 5 years or so, so we joined very similar times, so right back at the beginning with the Project Cars days of SimPlay Motorsport. But these guys, yeah, they've been around the block here a little bit. Sylth, ex-champion, ex-pro champion, and Skunky, was he pro-am champion? No, I think runner-up, was he?
Yeah, runner-up, pro.
Yeah, runner-up's pro, yeah, so Skunky and Sylth have both been at the sharp end. As for Flitzflop, I haven't seen him before, I don't think.
Flop is a relatively new driver, likes the side series, and has participated in a lot of them. He's done the GT4 Ginetta Championship, and now he's in the M2s as well. The M2s actually produced quite a lot of drivers, was very, very popular for drivers. Matt in the chat saying this is Skunky's 137th race, this is, so that just shows how long Skunky's been here for. I believe DJ Phil holds the longest running record of most appearances.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure now Duffin has heard me say that. He's going to find that stat. But Sylph is on a race meeting 90. So we're on board with Swarovski again, sorry, as he's in the wars once again, as is Varga. So Swarovski, Wright and Varga losing out to a bronze driver, Marsden. Marsden having a great little run here at Silverstone.
Yeah, he's going forward for sure. And yeah, I was going to say, DJ Phil turns up to the opening of an envelope, doesn't he?
There you go.
So many, yeah.
There's right on cue. Duffin says DJ Phil, 483 events he has entered at SimPlay Motorsport.
Dan's 375. Yes, my God, you've been around the block a bit, haven't you?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm a bit of a dinosaur.
You certainly are, yeah. But hey, many championships to your name. Me, 230 races. 230 and a measly 7 wins. None of them on ACC.
Sorry, Zidane.
That was good.
Yeah, he missed the brakes going into Cops, and instead of hitting the back of Smith, he decided, I'm going to go out wide and avoid that incident. Meanwhile, Anderson has got Smith for company. Now Smith gets it all wrong going into Maggotts and Beckett. Has to straight line it. And yeah, that ruins that kind of camber angle that I was going for. But Marsden and Swarovski still going at it, as Matt Wright just behind him, and Vargas just dropped off the back of him as well. The back end of this pack seems to be very entertaining, but the front end of the guys seem to have just spread themselves out a little bit, as we haven't spoke about your race leader, holds fastest lap of the race, 40 kilos, really doesn't seem to be hampering him that much. He's currently out in front, Kieran O'Reilly ahead of Kowalski, then it's McGowan in P3 with Post in P4, a brilliant drive once again, continuing on his good form from Imola, with Sylph now in 5th, with Skunky pretty much pushing Sylph lap for lap at the minute. He can't seem to find a space or an opportunity to find his way through at this minute. But that's your top 6. Flop in 7th with Schwarber in that 8th place. Wilbrink in 9th and Ramsel rounding up the top 10. So Ramsel having a better round here at Silverstone.
How are you feeling for Silverstone later in the week, Dan, when you get back in the car yourself?
I'm hoping for rain.
Okay. Is the Lexus normally good round here?
No.
Is it not? You've got some big long straights, and the Lexus is really good on power.
But it's the change of direction that it's not very good with.
Okay.
So yeah, that's its weak point. Duffin, a quick question in the chat. You say this might be O'Reilly's 38th race win if he can hang on for the next less than 4 minutes of this session. Where does that put him overall ranking of most race wins here? At the minute, 38 is quite a lot. I believe. I think I'm the only driver to hit 50, but that's because I'm a dinosaur and been here for too long.
Yeah. I mean, when you started, only about 6 people turned up, didn't they?
Oh, right. Meanwhile, Skunky's had a great run through Chapel. He's now on the back bumper himself. He's looking to send it into Stowe. A great overtaking opportunity, but he's not quite far enough alongside O'Reilly's 4th in the overall most wins. And Sylph goes a little bit wide on the exit of Stowe. He's going to head down Vale, but he's going to have the inside going into Club.
Yeah.
I think he should be able to hang off Skunky there. So a good little scrap between these two. Fair and respectful at the minute. Meanwhile, Post is still giving McGowan a bit of hard time to say that. He's dropped a little bit further back. But any argy-bargy between Skunky and Sylph, and Flop is right in the money there. Meanwhile, we've got Gillies and Jacket going at it as well. So close fights all up and down the grid so far.
You're in one of those positions where everyone wants to take your records now, don't they?
They're more than welcome to. Like I said, drivers love a challenge, don't they? And what's competition without a challenge, isn't there? So
absolutely.
They're like Michael Schumacher, records are there to be beaten. So they're more welcome to get them. Smith, has had a moment somewhere and has managed to get himself going, but has lost a little bit of time to the cars around him. Post, meanwhile, still giving McGowan a little bit of a hard time. If Post gets onto the podium, I believe that'll be his first podium here at SimPlay Motorsport, so it'd be great for the Apex driver to do that. But I said about Flop getting onto the back of Skunky, and he has.
Yeah. Fitz Flop, he's right there, and that's quite a nice liveried car as well, actually. Quite like Flip-Flops, Fitz Flops. Livery, that's quite nice.
Well, Schwarbert's and Flops are the same livery, but inverted.
Yeah.
So
nice. Yeah, I like that. Pretty.
We now start the final lap here at Silverstone, and those 20 minutes have gone very, very quickly. And the man who's not looked fast at all is your number one driver, O'Reilly, who's got this under control. Kowarski never really gave him a threat right at the start of this race, and really just been hampered ever since. Ooh, Sylph bouncing over through Beckett's and Beckett's there.
What line was that? That was a Honda line, that was.
I was just about to reference the Honda as well.
Good man.
As we see Zdanov now onto the back of Anderson into Copse, and Anderson takes a wider line, making sure he doesn't take the track limits, but does slow him down as he comes over to the right hand side. Zdanov looking for an opportunity, going to Maggots and Beckett's, but the door's going to shut quite hard on him.
Yeah, every time anybody goes in there looking for an overtake, I start to hold my breath. It's not. It's as I said earlier, you've got to have compliance with the other driver if you're going to make a move there.
You have indeed. Meanwhile, McGowan has still got the Apex Motorsport driver of Post hunting him down, waiting for that opportunity to pounce after if McGowan makes a mistake. And once again, McGowan been struggling this season with luck, and looks like luck is about to change. But is Post going to give him a bit of a hard time towards the end of this race? Keep an eye on where O'Reilly is, because he's coming now towards the back end of the circuit, and O'Reilly's just looked unbeatable here tonight. He's just looked confident and strong in this first race, and into the final few quarters he comes now, Kelly, and another win to his name.
Absolutely. As we said, 38th win. This will be for Kieran O'Reilly. He's the man on form at the moment, and looking like it doesn't matter if it's a Honda or a BMW, he can do it all. And with ballast as well, by the looks of it, is he's going to come round the final corner and go across the line for that win, 38, and great drive from him. Quite easy for him, to be fair.
Kowarski takes second with McGowan in third, Post in fourth. Sylph is going to cross the line for fifth, and then sixth goes Skunky, Flop in seventh. Schwarbert in eighth, with Wilbrink in ninth. Rounding off the top 10 is Ramsel, but he's been hunted down by Hibbs right at the very end there. So Hibbs possibly more potential underneath him. Crespo in the end, finishing off his night, his first race in 12th place position. Lee started last, worked his
Strong
way
drive.
back up to 13th place position. A good drive indeed. A little bit of mishap by the drivers to help him. Gillies 14th with Jacket in 15th. Marsden is going to come over for 16th place position with Shrolski in 18th. Then it's Matt Wright, Varga, Anderson, and I think that's Millington. Yes, it is. Where's Zdanov? He's back behind them, so it's going to be Millington to the line to get that 20th ahead of Anderson. Then it's going to be Zdanov, Aberdeen, then come to cross line. Paro and Nugamanov have cross line already. Aberdeen cross the line for 23rd. O is going to finish 24th, and Smith rounding us off for that one, Kelly. Oh,
Yeah.
gotta love M2s, don't you?
Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot, Dan. Yeah. I want one.
Well, we're going to be off to a break. I'm not sure if Kelly's going to be back with us or not.
I might not. If I'm not, then join me and Matt Duff in Sweet and Sticky in your box on Pro Night, where you'll see this man, Dan Davis, behind the wheel of his mighty Lexus, ripping up the Pro division and watching the back end of a Honda.
Thanks. Either we'll both be back, or I'll be back in Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. And sadly, Kelly Davis had to shoot off, so it's just myself left in the comms box to bring you the rest of the evening's events. And back on my microphone and on the computer once again, so you should be able to hear me hopefully in good time. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to give you some more action. Kelly said he only had an hour or two to spare, so he was able to come and join me in the commentary box, and hopefully we should get him returning some point later on in the season before he heads off to New Zealand for his holiday. Hopefully I won't sound as robotic. I did actually miss an opportunity where I wanted to say, oh God, that I'll be back or something in an Arnie kind of voice, but I missed the opportunity clearly. As I need to get closer to the microphone now, I forget that it's not by my face. So we are off and racing once again, as hopefully I'm going to do a quick test just to make sure we are 100% synced up with one another. We're currently on board with McGowan as he goes through the tight twisty section into the left-hander now, making sure he gets the apex just right as he gets a lovely toe off the back of his teammate of Skunky. And yeah, hopefully everything should be all sound and synced up beautifully, and we should be able to go racing once again. Still saying he was just struggling in the Discord, but yeah, hopefully all should be sounding much better now. Stevie is awake in the chat saying we'll take a P14 from the start of turn 3. I believe that is Gillies. So Steve, good recovery from himself in that one. I see Berserker in the chat, and I see everyone who is in the chat. If you feel like interacting, then please feel free to drop a message in the chat as well. If you're enjoying tonight's racing, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also a massive thank you to our sponsors as well, Design Manchester and Audio Sport, producers of vinyl graphics and laser engraved gifts, including mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. Head over to Facebook for Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. Manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk. And if you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then make sure you have a look at our sim grid. Get yourself signed up, and once you're signed up, you are then into the Discord. Once you're into the Discord, you are able to then do a hot stint. Once you've done the hot stint and you are given a class, then we'll be able to put you into the correct category when racing. Still currently on a lap at the minute, and if you haven't done so as well, have a look at our Instagram, our Facebook, and our TikTok as well. Have a look at all those wonderful pages as we post regularly, and you can see all the lovely photos and images of the drivers who have won each event. And yeah, just give us a like and follow, mainly here at SimPlay. Oh, Stills had a big moment. He's going to have to return to pit lane with that one, with damage to the side of his car. So that is going to hurt him in this one, unless he's decided to go with it, and he has come straight back out. It's going to take a lot of time to get back on a lap here, but we are now on board with Skunky for the end, or coming to the end of this session. So I believe anyone who crosses the line now should hopefully get 2 laps or 2 attempts at this. So we shall see how they all get on. So, right, I was meant to have a quick look at the championship standings. After that, I believe Matthew Duffin has updated the standings. Yes, he has. So thank you, Matthew, for that one. As Skunky sets the pace, and he's currently second off of O'Reilly at the minute, who goes fastest overall. Once again, Post showing his pace. Wilbrink, showing his pace. He goes into P3 with Post right there with him as well. So lap times coming in thick and fast. Crespo into 6th place position on his lap. Schwarber crosses the line. He goes 7th, and then Lee goes up into 6th place position. I believe that is a Gillies coming to the line. Ramsel comes to the line. Gillies did, but he didn't set a lap time. Varga goes 14th. Then we've got Anderson crossing the line. No lap time set for him. as Parra now comes through the final few corners here to come set a lap. I think it's Jacket who's now on a lap. It was Millington who crossed the line, 3.4 off the pace. And Jacket goes 8th with that one. And hopefully Silth will be able to get to the line. He should do quite comfortably. All these guys with damage to the front end of their cars. So there is Silth giving himself a big gap, wanting to make sure he has a good run. As you now wait for a couple more lap times to come in, O'Reilly setting the pace. And it is O'Reilly who leads the championship with Silth in 2nd, Skunky 3rd, Mezin 4th, McGowan 5th, Schwarber 6th, Kowalski 7th, 8th is Hooper, 9th is Post, DeMonster in 10th, 11th is Hibbs, Flop 12th, Harrison 13th, Lojek 14th, Zdanov 15th, Wilbrink 16th, Ramsell 17th, Varga 18th, Matt Wright 19th, Nugamanov in 20th. 21st is Marsden, Maiger 22nd, Crespo 23rd, Aberdeen 24th, Shorowski in 25th, Anderson 26th, Lee 27th, Jacket 28th, Cox 29th, Johnson 30th, Gillies 31st, Smith 32nd, Parra 33rd, O 34th, Millington 35th, and Buchhausen and Crack at the bottom. So as you come through the next couple of laps here, I think Skunky is going to get another lap. He will cross the line, does not improve. McGowan does. Will O'Reilly improve? No, he doesn't. And they all get a lap time to continue on doing. Post now goes 2nd with his lap time, so a good run from him there. Nugamanov did improve, but Aberdeen goes even higher. He goes up to 6th place position. Wilbrink goes up to 5th, as Hibbs only goes 10th with that one. Nugamanov is 13th. Flop goes into 14th place position. Schwarbert in the end going to 9th. Who else is on a lap at the minute? Kowalski's on a lap. Your two casuals still going around for another tour as they put some lap times together. Marsden crosses the line for 19th place position. Anderson in the end only 23rd, and Silth is still on a lap. Parra didn't get a lap time, nor did Gillies in the chat. He said help would help. Gonna have to try and come back through the pack as he's got a lot of work to do from there. I think that's a 21. That is Kowalski. Pole position last time out, major damage to the front end of the car, and he goes 2nd with damage on the front, so he's able to get up with O'Reilly. Matt Wright, I think, next to come to the line, and then it's O behind him. So what can Matt Wright do there? 22nd at the minute, taking the shortest route to the line. 11th for him on that one. A better performance from him there. To the line now is O, currently 22nd. And he finds improvement, but does not improve on his position. Now, the man to keep an eye on is here. Silth, currently 24th, 2nd in the championship. Can he get anywhere near his teammate as he comes out of the final corner? Now, only 8th, 1.3 off the pace. So he's definitely struggling here at Silverstone, as Skunky and McGowan both still on a lap, and if anything, Skunky is towing McGowan around, so it's definitely going to give him a little bit of an advantage. Out of the final corner of Luffield into Woodcut, and is Skunky going to get himself into the top 3? That's the question. Is McGowan going to go with him? Flash of lights from Skunky. No improvement. Has McGowan improved? He goes to P4 and goes ahead of his teammate. So it is O'Reilly for pole once again, ahead of Kowalski, ahead of Post, ahead of McGowan, and Skunky, your top 5. Still a lot of work to do down in that 8th place position, but nonetheless a good qualifying session for him. Gary Leach has managed to get himself into the session, as this Gilly's got a lot of work to do himself, so a few of the guys not able to get a lap time on the board, as you now wait to get things underway for the next race. As we now get things ready to go once again for the second race tonight. O'Reilly on pole position with Kowalski in 2nd. Maybe This way round, Korski might be able to get the move around the outside. He was out of position for the first one. So O'Reilly possibly looking to try send up the inside and hold on to that lead. That is the question. But like I said, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified. That's Kieran O'Reilly's 44th pole position. He's now second on the list. So yeah, so he's bringing that down. I think he will soon be at the top, because I don't have many pole positions, I know that. As I'm typing all these names in, I forget how long some of these names actually are.
10 seconds.
Especially Kowalski. Really struggle with typing that one up. My dyslexia really loves me for that one. But once again, post another strong drive. 23 to get to the top. There's plenty of rounds for him to get to the top. So O'Reilly pulls away now, as we will now do in the grid order, as there's a poll out as well, so you guys can vote who you think is going to win this one. Oh, not the button I wanted, that's the one I want. So it's Kieran O'Reilly who starts on pole position here, and then it is Korski in P2, Post in P3 with McGowan in P4, Skunky will start P5, Will Brink will start P6, Aberdeen P7, Silth P8, Zdanov P9th with Lee in 20th, Schwarbert in 11th, Ramsel in 12th, Wright in 13th with Hibbs in 14th, Jacker in 15th, and Cresbo in 16th, Nugamanov in 17th with Varga in 18th, Flop 19th, Shorowski in 20th, Millington in 21st, Marsden 22nd, O in 23rd, Anderson in 24th, Parrow 25th, and Gillies starting at the back of the pack in 26th position. About to get things underway for the second time tonight. We've got this race and one more race to go. What excitement have we got ahead of Silverstone? Not quite giving the excitement that we expected, but either way, we expect it to still be entertaining, as it always is. Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Like I said, a very, very long lap round here, even for the even for these M2s. It takes a while for them to get themselves around on the formation lap. Like I said, hopefully it will be able to get things racing and underway very, very shortly. O'Reilly taking another pole position, puts him right at the front. Some of the young guns right behind him, ready to pounce on him, ready to make a move if any mistake is made. As Kay said earlier on, we've still got some amazing racing to come later on in the season. Later on this week, we have got the Pro-Ams, which are tomorrow night, brought to you by Matthew Duffin and Langley. They'll be bringing you all the action of the Pro-Ams, as they'll be hitting Silverstone as well. And then on Thursday night, it is Kelly Davis and Matthew Duffin once again, sweet and sticky in your box, bringing you all the action for the pros as well. And for me, the most exciting thing, once we get Silverstone done and out the way, we head down under for the 6th round of the championship to my favourite circuit on the ACC. We go to Bathurst, Mount Panorama, for the 6th round of the season. What is Australia going to produce? That is the question. But more importantly, we face things here now at Silverstone as we wait for the drivers to get himself in a 2x2 formation, ready for race 2 tonight. Kieran O'Reilly and Kowalski do battle once again on the front row, but who's going to take the win? We shall see in 20 minutes time. MSA versus the young gun of Kowalski. Who's going to come out on top as we now wait for the starters' orders for race 2? And we are green and go, racing here at Silverstone. As you can see already, Skunky with a decent start, sending up the inside of Cops, and there, contact made, and post is round. He's got caught up with that, so is Silth, and so has Skunky. So Skunky being caught up with that, Silth is up, and I think there was a little bit of an opportunistic move from Skunky, but chaos has commenced as we go through Coppice and now through Maggots and Beckett's. Contact made, and around they go. But O'Reilly and Kowalski got the jump they needed, and down the back straight they go. Can Kowalski this time stick to the back of O'Reilly, as there's all sorts of chaos happening further back? We've got Hibbs in the middle of a fight, and he's got, I believe that is Jacket and possibly, yeah, Matt Wright just behind him. Varga also with a little bit of front end damage as he's collected someone or something as they then head down towards the chicane. Down towards the chicane they go, and Hibbs in a defensive position, but Jacka is now holding off Matt Wright. Matt Wright's going to go through the inside, and just behind him as well is Nugamanoff making a move as well. Jacka's going to try keep the pin around the outside, and Matt Wright loses the rear. Has he? Yes, he's managed to keep it out of the wall, so good save there from Matt Wright, but he drops down the order as they all come flooding through. Is the car of Crespo going to go around the outside of Matt Wright? Yes, he does. And job done, but Matt Wright should have the inside. No, he's been done by Crespo, as where we see, I think that was a flop, I think, sending it up the inside of Nugamanoff and holds him off. Meanwhile, further ahead, we got a bit of congestion here with Ramsel, Hibbs, Jacket. Oh, Jacket's making contact with Aberdeen, so contact between them and right into the firing line on a few other cars as it's all barging and pushing through. And we see there Jacket dropping into the slipstream of his fellow driver Swarovski there by the list of things. But McGowan is now leading the pack as such, because O'Reilly's off and gone out in front, and Kowalski now sat P3, and he's got Wilbrink just behind him. Schwarber P5 lead, P6 with Zdanov P7, Ramsel P8 with Hibbs P9, Varga P10, Jacket P11. And Aberdeen sat in the back end of the lap. He's right towards the back, so he's dropped back Nugamanoff from Flop, Swarovski, Jacket, Gillies, Crespo, Marston. Oh, and oh my God, that is sending it up. He had Post sending it up on the inside of him, holds him off, and I think that was Silth sending it through on all of them. He gets through the pack, as Paro now also looking to go through as Skunky at the back of this group. Millington not had a good start either, and Matt Wright and Aberdeen dropping to the back of the pack. So some really hard, aggressive racing at the start of this one. But McGowan once again has got Kowalski for company, and this time round, is it going to be the same top three, or is McGowan got a little bit more pace this time round, has learnt his lesson? Is he going to find a way through? That is the question. Further back, Zdanov is now caught Lee, and it looks to the inside, thinks better of it, but he has got a bit deep, and that's going to allow Ramsel for a possible opportunity for an up and under, and he's going to look to the inside. He goes towards the curb on the right hand side, but doesn't take too much of it, luckily, and Hibbs now is more interested in attacking Ramsel as they come up towards Abbey, right-hander, and that's to back off momentarily. Varga with the damage of being harassed by Nugamanoff and Flop behind him. Hibbs looked like he had a better run through the tight, twisty section. Ramsel defends the inside. Hibbs thinks better of it, but Ramsel gives him the racing rune. Hibbs tries not to make contact. They're side by side as they exit the loop, and through onto the back straight they go, but Hibbs not able to get the run there. Gillies meanwhile on the back of Jacket, he's giving him a bit of a hard time, and here comes Silth flying through the pack. He's got Crespo right in front of him. Behind him is O and Post, who are all on a recovery drive. Skunky's already cleared a few of the guys behind as well as Post down the inside. Whatever Silth can do, Post does as well. As you can see, that both of them on a recovery drive at the minute. Post trying to work his way through the order. He's done O. He's now next target is that of Crespo, but every one that Silth makes, Post goes with him. So they come up to the line now. Crespo having to try and defend off Post as best he can, get up in towards Cop's corner, and Crespo goes wide. That's possibly the run that Post needed, and it is. Here's Post can absolutely send it through Maggots. Oh, there's slight contact there as Crespo rubs doors with Post, but Post gets the job done, and now sticking with Silth. And once again, McGowan just dropping off the back of Kowalski. Kowalski pulling away from him at the minute. Will bring sticking with him. Schwarbert there in P5, and then everyone else following behind. We see Hibbs there, got a good run on Ramsel. Ramsel defends the inside of Stowe, but Hibbs is going to try and work around the outside and hope that Ramsel goes a little bit wide like that, so Hibbs can come up the inside of Stowe. He's then going to be on the outside of the Vale chicane. He's already got the job done. Ramsel losing out as he made a slight mistake through Stowe, over defending and lost the position. Silf now looking to look his way through on the back of Marsden. Marsden opening the door slightly, and Silf just trying to pinch his nose in, and he's right on the back bumper, and just with him is Post. Just ahead of him meanwhile it's Gillies and Jacket who are going at it. Jacket looking to try and capitalise on Gillies' slow run through there. They took a very weird line through there, and that just allowed the entire pack, and Marsden now looking up the insides of Jacket, but he can't get the job done. Jacket goes wide though, so Marsden is going to go up the inside. Silth and Post staying wide and hoping to just work their way through, and Silth gets a better run, but he's then caught off by Jacket, who's had a poor exit, but Silth is going to go down the inside of Marsden, and they are side by side heading down towards the left-hander of Brooklands, and down towards they go. Marsden has nowhere to go. Post seizes the opportunity and down the inside he goes. Can he get 2 for 1 as he's now on the inside of Jacket? He's going to be on the outside for Luffield. He's going to send it around the outside, and that's, if he can get a job, a lovely move, but Jacket's giving him the space and respect, and he will get a better exit than Jacket. They're still side by side. Meanwhile, Skunky, Crespo, and I think that's Anderson, or is it Marsden? It's Marsden going 3 wide as they come up to the Cop's corner, and Skunky latest of the breakers, and he goes through, and there Crespo makes contact with Marsden, and O hits him as well. Meanwhile, Post has finally got Jacket done, and Skunky right onto the back bumper of him. Meanwhile, back to the front, O'Reilly clear of Kowalski ahead of McGowan, and then Wilbrink in P4. Meanwhile, Lee is under pressure from Schwarber and Zdanov. They've caught up. Hibbs has dropped him, and here comes Flop now on the attack of Ramsel. So Ramsel heading down to Stowe again. Has he made the same mistake? This time Flop's going to go around the outside of Stowe, but Ramsel will keep the inside. Out into the dirt a little bit goes Flop, and Ramsel should be able to be staying ahead, but he does, and Flop can't get the job done. Next target for Silth is Gillies. That will get him into 13th place position, and top 10 is just around the corner, so he'll get there. As Berserker says, that's a clean race at the moment. Other than the start, it has been relatively clean and fair so far. But Skunky's next target is Jacket, so attacks are happening left, right and centre, as Lee is now losing a position here to Schwarber, and Schwarber goes down the inside. Lee once again up and under, looks to swoop back underneath Schwarber, but he can't quite get the job done, and Lee trying to get a good exit into the slipstream of the M2s. Can he send it into Brooklands? That is the question. Schwarber already going defensive. Lee looks to the outside. If he can keep it around the outside, he'll have the inside then for Luffield, but no chance through there, and Lee gets very close to the back of Schwarber, but he can't get the job done. Going back to Ramsel, who's still defending heavily from Flop, and he's got Nugamanov right behind him as well, so it's quite intense between those guys. Gillies meanwhile has got Silth hunting him down. Skunky's now cleared Jacket. Crespo has also passed O, and Shrolski now onto the back of Paro. Matt Wright has caught Anderson as well. Out in front quite comfortably at the moment is your defending champion Kieran O'Reilly out in front, ahead of Kowalski, ahead of McGowan, then Wilbrink, Schwarber ahead of Lee, ahead of Zdanov, then it is Hibbs, Ramsel ahead of Flop, ahead of Nugamanov, then you got Varga, Gillies, Silth, Post, Skunky, Jacket, Cresbo, O, Paro, Schwalski, Anderson, who's about to get overtaken by Matt right around the outside of Maggots and Beckett, Marsden, Millington and Aberdeen. There's a lap down currently at the minute, and that is the halfway stage. Majority reckon that Kieran O'Reilly is going to win this one, and at the moment he's looking good to win this one. Hibbs slowly, bit by bit, has got onto the back of Zdanov, so he's got some pace underneath him. We're currently on board with Ramsel, who's having a bit of a hard time with, I believe that is Flop and Nugamanov. And Flop has had an amazing run through Abbey. All contact there to the back of Ramsel, and Ramsel there just gets a little love kiss from the back of Flop there. Nugamanov now looking to make a move on Flop, but couldn't get the job done through there, and they all hang on to one another. Just behind there was another queue of Varga as well, so Varga trying to stay ahead of Gilly, Sills, Post, Skunky, all relatively close to one another. The lead goes a little bit deep. That's going to allow Zdanov to get a little bit closer. And Zdanov now in the tow in the slipstream of Lee. Is he going to think to send it into Cops? That is the question. Then later on the brakes, he turns in, he can't quite get the job done, and Lee there just holds him off for the moment as Hibbs bit by bit catching them slowly. Meanwhile, Gillies is now feeling the pressure of the quicker guys of Silth, Post, and Skunky is going to be on their doorstep very shortly as well, and all this is being held up by Varga, who's not had the best of runs. Meanwhile, Lee still struggling at the minute, with Zdanov hunting him down, and Hibbs not too far behind as well. The top five all kind of just stable at the minute and all spread out, and meanwhile we got a lovely tow happening here where we got Gillies, Silth and Post all going at it, and in the middle of all this is Silth, who is carrying that ballast on board. 30 kilos I believe he's carrying, or 35 kilos, as he runs a little bit wide there, and that's going to allow Gillies to just hold off a little bit, but Post giving Silth a bit of a hard time, and Silth goes from a defensive to an attacking mode and looks to make the move on Gillies. Slight contact there with Silth, and Post as well. Gillies goes round and drops down the order. He goes. Silth meanwhile holds off ahead of Post, who's lost out to Skunky, and now Skunky's on the back bumper of Silth. Gillies in the end dropping behind Jacket after all that, and yeah, slight contact with Silth dropped him down the order. Matt right now on the back of Paro, who's trying to hunt down O, and Schwarowski ahead of him as well. And Silth goes a little bit wide through there. But once again, Lee is holding off Zdanov and Hibbs. Meanwhile, Ramsel having to defend heavily here from Flop, who comes up to the Brooklands corner. To Luffield they go. Meanwhile, Hibbs momentarily looked like he was going to get an up and under on Zdanov. He cannot quite get the exit there, and has to sit in his slipstream a little bit later on. But Ramsel and Flop though close to one another. Where is Skunky? He's on to the back of Silth, who's also got Post with him as well. Has Matt Wright cleared Paro? Yes, he has. So another position gain for him, as Hibbs has a better run through Cops, and possibly now can he attack Zdanov? Through the Maggots and Becketts, and Hibbs having a poor line through there, and if anything he's going to be coming under pressure from Ramsel, and Lee's now pulled away from this group. So Lee taking the advantage of these guys struggling at this moment in time, and has allowed himself to just pull away from this group. And there you see Flop has the run on Ramsel, and Ramsell goes defensive. Flop is going to try and keep his nose up the inside if he possibly can, but thinks better of it. Goes to the outside of Stowe, and Ramsell going very, very defensive as Flop can't find a way through at this moment in time. A nice wide circuit like this one, and he's not able to get the run on Ramsell at the minute. Meanwhile, Silth has still got Skunky for company, and as they're trying to hunt down Varga, pretty much lead down to post, I believe. Yeah, it is all relatively close to one. A little bit of a gap where it's Varga and Nugamanov, but Varga is slowly creeping onto him bit by bit. With only 5 minutes left to go, O'Reilly still comfortably out in front, ahead of Korski, ahead of McGowan, ahead of Wilbrink, and ahead of Schwarber. Top 5 pretty much done and sealed. If anything bad happens, really, it's a less of fuel or something like that, then that's really what's going to affect the top 5 at this moment in time. But Lee in P6 ahead of Zdanov, Hibbs, and Ramsell, Flop, and Nugamanov. They're all close, as also Varga is getting closer. The gap was 2.8, it's now 2.2, so they are getting closer to one another. And as he's doing so, he is towing Silth with him, with Skunky also, and Post. And here they are, Skunky looking down the inside of Brooklands. Trying to outbreak Silth, but Silth keeps the confidence on the outside and has the inside then for Luffield. And Skunky will have to think of something new and inventive to try and find a way through there. Further back, meanwhile, Anderson has caught Parrow, looking to give him a bit of a hard time. Matt Wright trying to hunt down Shaworski, who's just got ahead of, I believe that is Aberdeen. Yes, it is. And here we go. Lee's had to go defensive. He's now on the attack from Zdanov, and Zdanov and Lee come together. Lee goes straight on. Zdanov makes contact with him and drops down the order. He has to get the car started, and away he goes. Meanwhile, you can see there, Post was sliding through the entrance of Maggots and Beckett's, trying to keep the M2 under control there. And that's just allowed a few other cars through, and that's allowed Hibbs through indeed. He now leads this gaggle of cars. He's now 7th. Oh no, sorry, not it's Lee who leads this group, sorry. So it looks like he's straight lining the chicane, or the Maggots and Beckett section, just to stay in front. So Hibbs now wanting a bit of the action. Flop still stuck behind Ramsell, can't find a way through, and now Post is on the attack of Skunky. So Skunky possibly had a bad run through the Stowe corner, and for a moment there, Post looking like he was going to give him a bit of a hard time, but Skunky holds him off as they go through Vale and now Club. And Skunky in trouble with Post here. So can Lee now hold off Hibbs towards the end of this race? 2 minutes left to go, and I think O'Reilly's going to start his final lap next time he crosses the line. So Lee just needs to make sure he holds off Hibbs, Ramsell, Flop, Nugamanov. Varga's got still Silth behind him, and Skunky and Post going wheel to wheel. Post going around the outside of Skunky. Outbreak him going into Brooklyn. So that's the question, as O'Reilly does start his final lap. Post does get the job done. A great move from him, set up all the way back down towards the loop, and a good job from him. Silph's now on the back of Varga. So we come to the end of this session. All frantic for the 6th place position. 4 cars going for it. Hibbs, Ramsell, and Flop all in this scrap. Meanwhile, Silth is trying to find a way around Varga, but can't do it at the minute. Silth looking for any opportunity to go through and pretty much pushing Varga into Maggots and Beckett. How he's not hit the back of that car, I do not know. Varga's car tends to have a little bit of a kind of a bad internet loop, as we see ahead of him. Meanwhile, Lee has lost out to Hibbs, and now Ramsell comes across and unnecessarily moves across on Lee, and I'm sorry, but that's kind of his own fault, that one, I'm afraid, as Ramsell just kept coming over and Lee didn't move. And Lee now losing a position to Flop now also, so Flop looking up the inside. And Flop does get the job done, and Lee drops another position. Nugamanov just behind them. And where did Ramsell come out of all of that? Where is Ramsell? He is behind. I believe he's behind Gillies now. So he's dropped further back towards the pack. I think he's 16th now. But another dominant run, another fantastic race for your defending champion. And that will be Kieran O'Reilly, who comes into the final few corners once again. Can anyone stop this guy? Can the weight slow this guy down? Clearly not. But it is going to be Kieran O'Reilly, who takes another win here at Silverstone and another fastest lap to his name with a pole position as well. Maximum points in race 2. Kowalski comes home for P2 in that one. McGowan only can settle for P3. Once again, your top 3 again the same as they were in race 1. Will Brink is going to finish in 4th for that one, with Schwalbert in P5. Will Brink leading the silver class. Hibbs, a great drive from him. He stayed out of trouble and got himself a 6th place ahead of Flop in 7th. Nugamanov in 8th, with Varga about to lose out to, he's lost out to Silt Post, and then Varga, Skunky, and then Lee in 13th. Zdanov 14th, Gillies in 15th, Ramsell 16th, Crespo in 17th, Jacket 18th, Matt Wright in the end finishing in 19th. Anderson is going to hold off Marsden for leading bronze. He will win the bronze class for that one. So job done from him for that. Paro will get 22nd. Then it's going to be Shrolski for 23rd, O 24th, Millington will be 25th, and Aberdeen 26th. What a race 2 that one, and once again O'Reilly takes the win here at Silverstone. Like I said, can anyone stop this man at this moment? He's looking good and he's looking dominant. We've got one more race to go. We'll see if he can make it 3 for 3. We'll be right back. And once again, I thank you to all our Patreons who will see on the screen in a few moments' time. But we'll be back for race 3 in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are now into the third and final qualifying session of the evening. The final race ahead of us shortly as well. And we're going to have a quick run through of the championship standings as well while we are here. And it is Kieran O'Reilly who leads the way still in this one, with Silth in second, Skunky third, Mez in fourth, McGowan in fifth, Schwarbert sixth, Korski seventh, eighth is Hooper Post ninth now, with the Monster in 10th, Hibbs 11th, Flop 12th, Harris in 13th with Lojet 14th, Zdanov 15th, Wilbrink 16th, Ramsel 17th, Varga 18th, Raz has just been updated as I'm reading them out. So I'll actually come back to them a little bit later on, actually, because I was reading that wrong by the sounds of things. So we'll come back to that a little bit later. Anyway, we are now into the next session of qualifying, and again, just 7 minutes for these guys to get those lap times on the board. Who's out there first? It looks like Silth is out. Hopefully you can have a better qualifying session this time round. Starts his flying lap here, heading up into Klopp's corner, sending it into the right-hander. See what he can do with this M2 around this circuit. It's actually been quite I think it's been a night where the M2s could add potential, slipstream one another and have some great racing, but it's not really delivered. I think the circuit's just a little bit too long and too fast for these cars. But either way, they still have put on a great show, which is always what we love to see here at SimPlay Motorsport. We're now coming to the middle sector now, and Silth once again has ruined his first lap and goes wide and invalidates it, and more importantly, McGowan now is going to get a lovely toe off the back of Silth as well. But hopefully he won't get too much in the way, and Silth now goes straight on at the chicane. He's allowed a McGowan through. Is that going to allow Skunky through as well? It is. And is O'Reilly going to sneak his way through as well? So Silth is not really having the best session here as he drops down the order. He's now allowing, I believe that is post through. Yes, he is. So Silth now just trying to find himself a gap to feed himself back into. So we now wait to see what McGowan can do. McGowan now heads down the back straight, heading up towards Brooklands to set his first lap time. Some great racing again tonight, says Matthew Duffin. There has been some good racing, but I feel like there could have been more potential for some better racing. The pack just a little bit sprung out on this one, but either way, it has still been rather entertaining to watch. As they now come down the main straight, McGowan comes across the line. What's the lap time going to be? It's a 16.1. I'm pretty sure Skunky across the line, he gets for 2:10. And there we go, O'Reilly with a 15.9. So he's got the pace. As Post now goes into that fourth place position. Obviously still no lap time. Aberdeen goes into fifth. Anderson going sixth. Now Wilbrink goes to fifth as well. Crespo sixth with that lap time. Nugamanov with seventh. So they're all coming in thick and fast with the lap times. Trying to be as quickly as they possibly can to see who crosses the line next. There's Schwarbert who goes up into P5, Millington into P13. He looked like he was giving Hibbs a little bit of a toe. He was indeed. Matt Wright goes seventh with that one. Slowly been building his night. Flop is done. He will not get back out for another lap. So best he can do at the minute is 8th place position. Looking to try and have a better qualifying session. Hibbs getting a lovely toe off the back of Millington. The only worry is that he could be holding him up like that, so Hibbs now looking like he's attacking him rather than actually helping himself on this lap. So Millington focusing on his lap, but he's got Hibbs for company, and Kowalski there goes P4, so this will be his one and only lap that he will be left with, and he's not going to improve. That is that for him. Also, Wilbrink's got Anderson in his way, so a lot of drives being held up, and Wilbrink sends up the inside. Big mistake from him, so he won't improve either. So McGowan, has he got any more life left in that car? That is the question, as McGowan goes into the final sector now, 2/10 to get ahead of O'Reilly. But O'Reilly, with the pace he's been having this evening, should look good for another pole position. As he exits the final corner here, McGowan once again should get another run. Szawalski's done as well, P4 for him. But McGowan, does he improve? No, he doesn't. Skunky does, and doesn't go any faster. But O'Reilly does get another lap on the board. First across the line is Post. He goes 6th for that one, and that's the best he can do. Any more lap times? Aberdeen across the line. He goes 16th. As Silf doesn't get a lap time on the board. What others are, Crespo in the end, 11th. So Silf starting from the back of the pack for this one. Who else is crossing the line? No one else is on another lap here. Ramsel in the end, only 15th. O's on a lap, as is Lee, as is Varga. They're the only three to put a lap time together and drop Silf to the bottom of the pack. So here comes O and Varga and Lee. Lee gets it and goes into 16th. Here comes Varga. Does he get a lap time on the door? He does, as will O. Yes, he does. So Silf will start last in 26th position. O'Reilly's back in the pits. It is down to the casuals. Can they do anything about O'Reilly? That is the question. As here comes Gillies now towards the line. He goes 13th. Good lap time from him. It is now down to the two casuals drivers. That is McGowan and O'Reilly. And into the tight infield section. There you go. Can they do anything? That's half a second for McGowan to find, 7/10 for Skunky to find, so there's a lot of time for them to get. Kowalski not going to be starting on the front row this time round with O'Reilly. I believe that is Kowalski still on track at the minute. Yes, it is, as they come into Luffield now for the final time. The final qualifying session. Is it going to go the way of O'Reilly, or is one of these two going to upset him right to the very end? Here comes McGowan, and here comes Skunky. McGowan is not going to improve. Is Skunky? He does, but doesn't change position and stays third with that one. So it's O'Reilly from McGowan, from Skunky, your top three. Then this time it's Szawalski from Kowalski, Post, Matt Wright, Schwarbert, Wilbrink, Jacket, Flop, Crespo, Gillies, Nugamanov, Hibbs, Ramsel, Lee, Varga, Zidanov, Aberdeen, O, Marsden, Millington, Paro. We got to Paro. There we go. Anderson, and at the back of the pack is Silf. One MSA to the front, the other to the back of the pack. What a race this is going to be. Silf not getting the lap together, not being able to put a valid lap time on the board. Question is, where is Silf going to finish after this one? He's got a lot of work to do. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And make sure you have a look at our fantastic sponsors as well, which is Design Manchester, Audio Sport. All their information are in the description below. Is this going to be another comfortable race for O'Reilly, or is the casuals now ganged up a little bit on him. Can they do anything about him? That is the question. Swarovski, though, in a P4 position, looking good. Also leading the silver class. Is he? And O is leading the bronze.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
And away they go, leaving off the grid. So I get my cup of coffee. Yes, it's 10 o'clock at night and I've got a cup of coffee. Don't judge me. I need it just to keep an eye on all the action that's going on at the minute on track, as the casuals kind of stenting on what the plan is. They're going to be giving O'Reilly a bit of a hard time. Berserker in the chat, pretty sure about the winner, but it's a race. We can't know before the line. Exactly that. It could be absolutely anyone's, Berserker. Anyone could win this one. Although O'Reilly has had it pretty much his own way, other than the first race where he didn't quite put it on pole position. That went the way of Kowalski, but ever since he's been able to keep it on pole and fastest lap and won every race so far. Can O'Reilly keep up this form? Or is the casuals kind of showing their hand and wanting to get on the back of O'Reilly? That is the question. So still a lot of racing to come this week. We've got the GT3s returning once again for the Pro-Am and Pro Race coming up here at Silverstone Pro-Am with all your action. Bringing you is Matthew Duffin and Langley. They'll be bringing you all the action in that class, and all sorts can happen in the Pro-Am Championship as well. I believe it's wide open at the moment. And obviously the Pro will be brought to you by Sweet and Sticky in your box, Kelly Davis and Matthew Duffin. They'll bring you the action on Thursday night as they hit the circuit. And then we'll be heading down under at Bathurst Mount Panorama for the next round of the championship. We are at the halfway stage. 10 p.m. I may have grabbed another beer. Fair play tips. As the Drivers' Championship looks like this, it is O'Reilly from Silf, McGowan, Kowalski, Schwarbert, Skunky, Mezin, Post, Hibbs, Hooper, DeMonster, Flop, Wilbrink, Zdanov, Varga, Harris, Ramsel, Lojek, Nugamanov, Wright, Marsden, Crespo, Maiger, Aberdeen, Shawarski, Lee, Anderson, Jacket, Gillies, Cox, Johnson, Smith, Parrow, O, Millington, Hoochhausen and Crack. Regarding the Teams Championship, MSA from Casuals from Autobahn United, Apex Motorsport, Greasy Bandits Racing, Kozak Racing, Only Siders, GBU Racing, SimPlay Racing, Mizanic Racing, Soldor Racing, Team FBGB, Schwarster Motorsport, Quantum Motorsport, Billy No Mates and Team SPR rounding off the teams. So for the final time this evening for the Whodarron Cup, it is O'Reilly on pole position once again. And this time he has got McGowan for company on this one, as they now come into the final corner. Who is going to win this one? McGowan versus O'Reilly, MSA versus the Casuals. We now wait for starters' orders. And we are green and go, and once again O'Reilly gets the jump. He is well ahead of McGowan and Skunky down the inside of Cops, and O'Reilly's easily got the jump here, but McGowan's been hit by one of the red and silver cars. I believe it is Schwartzky, but he's kept it pinned, he's spun it around, and he's managed to keep it on circuit. He's got a lot of work to do now as he drops down into the pack. He drops in behind McGowan as himself, and Silth as well has got a lot of work to do. There is Silth, as there's a little bit of slow traffic towards the back of the pack, but we are away and racing here. McGowan in the pack, and there Millington has got caught up in an incident, and he's taken one of the Kazakh racing cars with him. I believe it's Nugamanov or Zdanov that's gone with him. It's Zdanov, I think. Yeah, it is. So it's Zdanov who's gone down the order, but it is O'Reilly with the jump ahead now of Skunky in that second place position ahead of Post, and then Schwarbert behind him once again. Kowalski just behind them, and meanwhile there's a whole gaggle of cars going into the chicane. How they've all managed to get through that with no contact, I do not know. And McGowan was slap bang in the middle of all that, and he's gone. A car's gone wide. I think that is. I'm not sure who that is. There's so many cars. There's Lee in there. Silph's in the middle of all that as well. I think Jacket is in the middle of it. Yes, it is. And Jacket's got Silth up the inside, and through Silth goes. And yeah, Galgo of cars already. McGowan going up the inside of Ramsell. There down the inside also is Aberdeen on Ramsell. Silth looking to make a move. Lee's there as well, and Silth trying to negotiate his way through this pack where he shouldn't really be, but already O'Reilly with the jump ahead of Skunky, ahead of Post, and ahead of Schwarbert. Kowalski ahead of Schwartzky, then Matt Wright, Wilbrick, Crespo, and Nugamanov. Then it's Gillies, Flop, Hibbs, Varga, McGowan, Ramsell, and around the outside goes Aberdeen on Lee. And Aberdeen dropping back behind. And Silph now looking to go right round the outside. 4 wide in the entry of a chicane. It was very close. GG. Yeah, it is indeed. It was entertaining to watch, and they got very, very close indeed. And Aberdeen holds off Silph, and Silph has to fall back into line. And he is going to be a man on the move on this one. As Silph now cuts Dak underneath on Aberdeen and gets that job done. Meanwhile, further up ahead, I believe that is Flop on the move. He's managed to get past, or he's trying to find a way through on Gillies, but can't find a way through at this moment in time. And Hibbs, meanwhile, in the tow, in the slipstream. McGowan also with a great exit through there. He's right on the back bumper of Varga and pretty much pushing him as we go on board with him. As now he's going to go down the inside of Stowe. No, he's not quite far enough alongside, but Varga himself has gone wide and has made a mistake. So Varga goes wide, and Hibbs meanwhile is trying to come on the attack and Flop, but Varga goes defensive, and Hibbs sees McGowan coming. I think McGowan was busy braking later than Varga and nearly ended up attacking Hibbs instead. And Hibbs now having to go defensive. He's got McGowan coming through. Matt Wright has got Wilbrink just behind him. Schwartzky leading this gaggle of cars. As Kowalski's caught onto the back of Schwarbert. So Schwarbert, really decent night for him, staying out of trouble, staying in the top 5 for pretty much all this. As Post now looking to harass the back of Skunky. Meanwhile, McGowan has got Hibbs, and job done for him. Up a position he goes as McGowan is now moving his way forward. Varga has also moved up ahead of Hibbs. Once again, O'Reilly gone off into the distance in his own league at the minute. He's M2 is more like M1s for him, all on his own, as Post harassing the back of Skunky. Kowalski is now attacking Schwarbert. Schwarbert getting a good exit out of Luffield into Woodcut, but not enough, as Kowalski now looks to the inside going into Cops. And I don't think Schwarbert is going to fight that one too hard. He's probably lost the right and positioning there to the corner, and Kowalski goes through, but he does get a better exit, and he's right in the toe. So you might think about going down into Maggots and Beckett's, but he's not close enough at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Silth is now onto the back of Hibbs and is on his way forward. Ramsell holding off Lee, and he's got Aberdeen, Marsden, and Jacker all close together. racing at the moment in time. Swarovski pulling away from Matt Wright. Will Brink is still there with Crespo and Nugamanov. They're having a good little scrap. Meanwhile, Flop is attacking Gillies at the minute, and they've got McGowan starting to hunt them down bit by bit. Meanwhile, Varga has got Hibbs for company, who's going to look to the inside of Stowe momentarily, but Sylph is also going to look to the outside of Stowe. Give him the inside then for the chicane, but he goes a little bit wide. That is going to be a track limits warning for sure, as Hibbs defends the inside going into Vale. There's no way round for him. McGowan, meanwhile, hunting down Flop is his next target, as Post still giving Skunky something to think about. He's currently second at the minute, and that will hopefully bump him up a lot higher in the championship for him. Gorski clearing Schwarber and dropping him quite quickly as well, so he's now looking to try and chase Post and Skunky towards the end of this race. Schwarowski still got Matt Wright and Will Brink for company. Flop still hasn't found a way through on Gillies yet. Gillies having a good defensive drive here. See, the cars are absolutely filthy after all this hard racing. Flops is actually immaculate. Everyone else is, and Varga is pretty clean as well. But Sylph has now got Hibbs, I mean. His next target is now Varga. Down into Brooklands they go, sending it up the inside. Can't get the job done there. So Sylph having to be a little bit more patient, take his time, find the best exits, get the right line, and now try and harass the back of Varga. As it now comes up to Cop's corner. Is Sylph close enough? No, he's not. He's going to look to have a better exit though of Varga, and he hits the curb quite hard, bouncing the car through Cop's corner, and just behind him as well is Hibbs. He's keeping him interested as well. But into Maggots and Beckett's they go. Hibbs can't find, Sylph can't find a way through at the moment. Gillies now, with that pace that Flop has been forcing him to use, he's now caught the back of Crespo and Nugamanov as well. Meanwhile, Varga going very defensive further back has now got Sylph in the he's now axle to axle at the minute, as Sylph's going to look to go around the outside of Stowe. He takes a lot more pace into the corner, but he is going to naturally run wide and understeer off. Varga has a snap mid-corner and nearly hits Sylph as he has that snap, and Sylph though managing to avoid the situation. Crespo meanwhile still heavily defending from Nugamanov, and there down the inside goes McGowan. Not quite back up in the top 10, but he can see the top 10 now. Nugamanov currently in that 10th place position. McGowan doing everything he possibly can. Meanwhile, Post is still giving Skunky a bit of a hard time. There's a 10th separating those two, as Matt Wright momentarily looked like he was having a move on Schwarowski. And now McGowan looking to make a move on Gillies. Meanwhile, we got Nugamanov cut in underneath the inside of Crespo, and down the inside he goes. He gets a bad run hitting the curb there on does Nugamanov, and that's going to allow Crespo just to stay side by side momentarily. I think Sylph further back has cleared Varga. Yes, he has. So Nugamanov gets through on Crespo. Now Gillies is interested. I can't find Gillies. There he is. But as he goes attacking the back of Crespo, he then gets McGowan for company just behind. So Nugamanov making another position at Post. Once again, still giving Skunky something to think about. Kowalski, though, looking to catch on to the back of him as well. Schwarowski has got Matt Wright and Will Brink for company. And then you got this gaggle of 5. Nugamanov there pulling away as Gillies and Crespo go wheel to wheel. Flop gets back past McGowan, as McGowan's kind of hit a wall a little bit here. He stays to the outside of Flop. He'll get a better run out at Chapel corner, but they've ended up locked together on the exit, and they're still locked together as they come back on track, and Sylph is going to get 2 places there, I think, as you're now up to the halfway stage of this race. Sylph's going to get at least 1. Is he going to get 2? No, he's not. But McGowan with dirt on his tyres goes wide, understeers, and off he goes. Zilth 2 for the price of 1, and now Hibbs is looking to get interested in this. Crespo momentarily looked like he's making a move on, no, sorry, Gillies has made a move on Crespo, so move done for him. Silf now looks to try and charge on them. Post actually, meanwhile, has lost a little bit of time to Skunky and has fallen into the clutches as Kowalski. Matt Wright now onto the back of Schwarowski instead. So Matt Wright now on the move, on the attack. Going into the loop section, he's got Wilbrink for company. As McGowan looking to try and come back at Flop on the inside of the hairpin. He gets close, but not quite close enough. Hibbs also getting relatively close, and Vargas coming with Hibbs gets a great line out of the hairpin, and McGowan's made a little bit of mistakes of where he was charging through the pack. He's now struggling to work his way forward as Jackett's lost out to Aberdeen, and they're all still relatively close to one another except for your race leader, who is gone and basically into Bathurst already. He's heading to Australia with a decent point scoring position for him. Skunky still holding off Post, and Kowalski, who is hunting him down. Schwalbert kind of in no man's land at the minute and minding his own business. We've still got this great fight between McGowan, Hibbs and Varga. Varga's now in this scrap. Doing your driver of the day, so you can get votes in on that one relatively early. But Hibbs still giving McGowan a bit of a hard time. Skunky once again not having the best of runs. He's got Kowalski coming back at him once again. And at the minute, Post getting closer to the back of Skunky, not really able to grab him at this moment in time. Final opinion of the commentator, you get to decide who gets the choice as the driver of the day. Obviously, if you don't agree with me, you can vote for someone else in the chat, so just drop your own message in there. Any other fights going on at the minute? Flop has got McGowan and Hibbs still for company. Everyone else relatively spread out now, except for this gaggle of cars here. And I think that's Flop who's made a mistake. He's managed to collect it together, and McGowan's gone through, as has Hibbs. Now Varga's looking to work his way through. Ramsell's not too far behind them either. So Ramsell also working his way through the order. And for driver of the day, I've gone for Kieran O'Reilly, Post, and Kowalski as well. And Schwalbert. Schwalbert has had a very solid night in that P5 position, looking good and been consistent all night long. And Skunky, meanwhile, 4.2 off the back of O'Reilly, but he's still ahead of Post and Kowalski. More importantly, Schwalbert in P5. Schwarowski still trying to... He's actually lost out to Wilbrink, so Wilbrink's moved up. Matt Wright's dropped back. Silph's next target is Gillies, and then he is back into the top 10 from starting 26th. Flop is now coming back on the back of Varga, and Ramsell's not too far behind them either. What else is happening? Millington's racing the Lee, and Zhdanov's hunting down. Oh, not been around for Zhdanov. He's probably hoping was a little bit better, but it's not worked out that way this evening for him. As Varga and Flop now go wheel to wheel, and Flop not able to capitalise quite there. And into the last 5 minutes of this race. Still to play for Post, still trying to hunt down Skunky. This will be Post's first podium position. He'll finish on the podium for the first time here at SimPlay Motorsport. Good drives all through the field, but O'Reilly class above tonight. I totally agree, Tips. He's been in another league for sure. He's just been off and gone, and no one really been able to really put a challenge on him this evening. Zdanov getting past O there for the 24th position. Let's see, we'll bring under pressure from Szwolski towards the end of this race. Right now joining the company, so that could be spicy towards the end of this race. Silf now onto the back of Gillies, who's been slowly also working his way onto Nuga Manov. And Varga's got Flop and Ramsel for company, and McGowan has caught Crespo as well. So final few fights happening here. As we'll bring Szwolski and Matt Wright battle it out for 6th, 7th and 8th. As they head into Cops. Maggots and Beckett section, as we'll bring just losing a little bit of momentum through there. That's going to allow Szwolski to get a little bit closer. Post also getting closer to Skunky right at the very end. Tips in the chat, must be boring to be that good. What we see here, Gillies now having to defend from Silth, who's looking to try to go up the inside of Stowe, and also it looks like McGowan's made the move on Crespo as well. Silth round 2 with Gillies, and Gillies keeps the inside covered. He's then going to have the inside covered then for the chicane, and Silth looks to the outside. Gilly gives him plenty of room on the outside of the corner. Gillies has a snake moment there, losing the back end, and Silth having to go off circuit. Gillies not really giving him the space to come back on track. And Gillies probably sitting there thinking, well, mate, you're out there anyway. And Gillies once again losing out to Silth there. A flash of light from Gillies there. Meanwhile, McGowan still pulling away from Crespo, and Hibbs now looking to catch Crespo towards the end of this race. O'Reilly, though, will start his final lap here at Silverstone. He nearly had a Grand Slam. He nearly had every single point that was available to him, but missed out by one because Kowalski took pole position in the first race. O'Reilly now starts his final lap here, and Skunky still under pressure from post towards the end of this race. Matt Wright on the back of Will Brink as Szwolski's dropped back. He's now in the clutches of Nuga Manov, and Silf now up into the top 10 position, and McGowan now on the back bumper of Gillies. So Gillies, after getting caught up and contact with him, he's dropped back into the fast Cops corner, and McGowan momentarily looked to go up the inside. He's going to send it around the outside instead, but can't find a way through. He goes off circuit. Everyone else pretty much in order towards the end of this race, but Post looks like he's got a great run on Skunky towards the end here. 0.4 of a second separating these two for the final podium positions. And Kowalski wants to get on the podium once again. He's had 2 tonight. Can he make it a 3rd? That's the question. Matt Wright also giving Will Brink something to think about. Silf's now got Nuga Manov covered. Is Nuga Manov going to send it into the chicane? No, he's not. He falls back into position. Gillies, though, defends the chicane. He goes a bit deep, and McGowan's have to go around the outside. Is he going to get the job done? He goes off slightly. I think he was just on the curb, but Gillies gives him the racing room, and through goes McGowan. Here comes Crespo now, trying to capitalise on that poor exit from Gillies. Gillies breaks later, though, to stay ahead, going through Abbey and Hibbs right behind him. But Hibbs here, looking to go sending it down the inside of Crespo. Crespo's late enough on himself to make a move on Gilly, so he can't make that job done. And Hibbs going wheel to wheel with him towards the end here. But we have to go back to your race leader. Not one, not two, but 3 times. He wins here in Silverstone. He even gets the back end out just for a bit of fun. But it is gone the way of Kieran O'Reilly. Other than pole position made, he has been victorious here at Silverstone. Complete domination from Skunky in second, Post in third, Kowalski fourth. Schwarber is going to finish in that 5th place position. Wilbrink is going to finish in 6th. Ahead of Matt Wright, a much better race for him in that one. And Silth is just going to get 8th. So he started from last back up to 8th. Ahead of Shaworski, ahead of Nugent-Manoff. Then McGowan in 11th. Gillies. And then my game crashed. Hang on a moment, guys. My game has just suddenly crashed, which is brilliant. I don't know why it's done that, but I will be back momentarily back into the server just to confirm the final positionings here. But what a nice weather racing we have had. It's been fun, it's been dramatic, and like I said, I will try and get back into the server as quickly as you possibly can to get the final results on that one. But O'Reilly been absolutely dominant in that one. For some reason, like I said, the game just decided to go, nope, not interested. And like I said, we will get back in as quickly as I possibly can. Actually, you know what? We won't even bother. We'll just go to a Be Right screen anyway. Matthew Duffin's probably doing the final on it anyway. But yeah, massive thank you to our patrons. If you do want to be a part of the Patreon system, then feel free to have a look on our Discord. It's only £3 a month, and it also helps out towards the channel. And yeah, a fantastic night's worth of racing here at SimPlay Motorsport. It's been entertaining for all of us, and we look forward to the next round of the championship, which is at Bathurst Mount Panorama. And what a round that is going to be. I'm thoroughly excited to see how all that pans out. A circuit where it's going to be pushing drivers to the very, very limit. Let's have a quick look at the actual calendar. What is left on the season. So we still have, we've done Autumn Park, Nürburgring, Misano, Imola, and now Silverstone. And it's Bathurst, an early morning race, and then we head to Spa-Francorchamps for our night race. Kyalami for round 8. Round 9 will be Circuit of the Americas, and then finishing off once again at the home of SimPlay Motorsport at Donington Park. We do have a driver in the interview room at the minute, and it has been the man who's been absolutely dominant all night long. Kieran O'Reilly has joined me in the comments box. Kieran, a night for yourself where it's just been pure dominance. No one's really got anywhere near you other than just the one pole position that Kowalski nabbed at the end. Pretty much a dominant night for yourself.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It was a little bit unexpected tonight, to be fair. I literally loaded the game up at about 7 o'clock, whatever time it was. I just jumped straight on and thought, we'll just have a bit of fun tonight and do what we can do. So to come out with the results I've had tonight is obviously, it's a mega performance. And if I'm being honest, I really enjoyed the car round here tonight. I thought it was a load of fun. So yeah, just kept my head down, started picking up the pace as you usually do throughout the nights, and yeah, what can I say? It was a brilliant night's racing tonight.
Well, like I said, it just seemed so in control tonight, even though you just jumped on last minute and just loaded the setup on. It seemed, like you said, you just seemed to be in the groove straight away. The 40 kilos as well seemed to do really nothing to yourself there. Was it just because the car, once you got up and going, the car was in a smooth momentum rhythm and it didn't really slow down, or it just didn't seem to phase you at all?
Yeah, I'd say I don't really think it would have made a massive difference tonight, as if you can get the flow right round here, you're just sort of flowing through the track. You know, you're just sort of keeping the momentum up with the car, and that's just how you've got to drive it, really. So I think when you can sort of gel each corner together and just keep the pace up throughout the whole lap, you know, it doesn't really play a massive factor. I was a bit surprised, you know, on the straights, didn't really seem to be gaining on me much. So yeah, I think maybe it's just that this track suited the extra weight with the car. You know, you could maybe throw it about a bit more. It's not as technical, is it? You know, it's more of a sort of sweeping track, and just try and get the apexes as good as you can. So yeah, the weight didn't really play a big factor tonight. So you know, I'm obviously pretty happy about that.
Obviously, next round of the championship should be a very interesting one. We go down under. We head to Australia next for Bathurst Mount Panorama for the next round of the championship. Now, it's a bit of a roller coaster just with GT3s, but with M2s as well. Sure, it's going to be a round. There's going to be surely some sketchy driving, sure.
Yeah, I was actually talking about it just before. I think obviously, you know, going up the mountain is going to be just a lot of foot down and get up there. But, you know, when you're coming over the top and coming down, yeah, it's going to be dangerous, man. It's going to be some carnage, I think. You know, people are going to have to just be, I think, a bit more careful around each other and just anticipate that people will be on the brakes and stuff. So, you know, it's going to be fun though. I'm proper looking forward to it. To be fair, it's not really a track that you'd want to race these cars at. And you know, with the big grids that we keep getting, I think it's just like you say, it's going to be carnage. It's going to be some good fun. But you know, there's also, you know, you got the long straights and stuff to put the power down and use the 7 gears that this car's got for some reason. So yeah, again, we'll just have to see. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a proper fun night's worth of racing.
Well, with another dominant night worth of racing for yourself, you are now 4th in the all-time wins list here at SimPlay Motorsport, and now 2nd in the all-times list in pole position. So really kind of stamping your authority here at SimPlay Motorsport. But although, mate, a fantastic night's worth of racing. Sadly missed out on that one pole to make it a Grand Slam, but we'll see you in Australia for the next round of the championship.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
And that is no one else joining us in the comms box other than Kieran O'Reilly. So regarding the championship, it looks, once I find the tables, I believe it's been updated. It looks like this. It is Kieran O'Reilly who leads away ahead of Silth, ahead of McGowan. And then it is, I'm just double checking it's correct. No, it's not. So I have to re-update that one a minute. But it is still a night of good points for the MSA crew. They're pretty much out in front and looking good at the moment. So O'Reilly from Sill, from McGowan, Kowalski, Schwarbert, Skunky, DeMonster, Post, Mezin, Hoopert, Hibbs, Wilbrink, Flop, Harris, Zdanov, Ramsel, Vargo, Nugamanov, Wright, Lojek, Maiga, Marsden, Cresbo, Schwalski, Aberdeen, Marsden, Lee, Gillies, Jacket, Cox, Johnson, Parrow, O, Smith, Millington, Hoochhausen and Crack rounding that off. Regarding the teams, again, I need to quickly update that one, but MSA have been looking mighty out in front and looking like they are going to be the class of the field. It's MSA ahead of the casuals, ahead of the casuals, then it's Autobahn, or United, Apex Motorsport, Only Siders, Kowalski, Kazakh Racing, Greasy Bandits Racing, GBU, SimPlay Racing, Team FBGB, Manix Racing, Quantum Motorsport, Soldal Racing, Schweister Motorsport, Billy No Mace, and Team SPR rounding that off. That is it for the M2s and the Whodarron Cup. We shall see you next time for the next round of the championship, which will be in Australia. But there's still some great action. Kieran O'Reilly winning driver of the day. For me, Schwarbert will get driver of the day, consistent. I know O'Reilly's been on a tear at the minute, so for me, it's going away of Schwarbert for driver of the day. But we shall see you next time in Australia. But still, Pro-Am tomorrow night with Matthew Duffin and Langley bringing you all the action. And then on Pro Night, it'll be Sweet and Sticky in your box for Pro as Kelly Davis and Matthew Duffy brings you all the action. But from me and everyone here at SimPlay Motorsport and Whodarron Cup,